I am not the Dark Lord, and this is not Harry Potter, but there are some pretty dark things happening around the world as it relates to human health and the environment that I think we need to be paying attention to. This is my concern in the current state of the US is we may be paying attention to the wrong things.
Really?
If you, yeah, so
What's
for
brewing
ex
out there? So when you're an optimistic guy, right? And so, but when
yes,
you're thinking deeply and maybe not so optimistic, what's troubling you?
so screw worms, Google it, okay? Screw worms we eradicated from this country decades ago, and for a bunch of different reasons, they're making their way back up north through Mexico en route to the United States. If my friends from the USDA are listening in right now, their blood is starting to boil because what they'll say is there's no screwworms in the US, but they are clearly on their way back. What this will mean to the agribusiness, what this will mean to pet owners, these flies lay their eggs and then their larvae hatch in any open wounds. So if you take one of your bovine, your cow, and you put a tag in their ear and it creates a little cut there, a screwworm fly can deposit an egg, and then those larvae begin to eat away at the flesh of that animal. And that's
Wow.
an example. That's just at one example. Okay, so let me give you another one that's directly related maybe to the people listening in today. I attended a mosquito control, a vector control conference in Florida just maybe a month or 6 weeks ago. And somebody from the state presented a map of dengue transmission
What?
in Florida. And they put the slide up that showed the cases like in the last year or two. And then they moved on to the next slide. And I caught them this is a true story. I caught them at the break and I was like, you,
They just skipped over it.
you know, what you just showed was dengue fever is now established in the state of Florida. Now, I was in a group of five, you know what the breaks are like, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's drinking their coffee, and these people started blushing. They're like, because the governor, the way that works in the state is there's something called a clade. It's the type, it's the consistency of the organism, if you will. Because the clades are not identical in the different dengue outbreaks in the state of Florida, there is not the legal position to declare dengue is endemic in the state. But for all
Really?
practical purposes, when you come to Orlando, sir,
That's terrifying. I,
so this is what I'm talking about.
I-
When folks are like, I don't read about anything. It's like, just because you don't read about it doesn't mean it's not an issue. So I'm not saying you're going to get dengue. What I'm saying is dengue is here.
it's here. And
Okay.
and so literally this legal position of the state of Florida, the way they're structured is nothing to see here because there's variance between the strains or how
It's called, yeah, there you go. It's called referred to as a clade, but it's one could make the case, well, these are different localized cases. It's not established within the state. But if you look at the state as a whole, I mean, just look at the colors. It's like, wait a minute, that's my house. where, where that is. And I grew up in Maryland. I consider it my home state. There was a locally transmitted case of falciparum, that's cerebral malaria, a couple of summers ago. The world is changing. Aedes aegypti is now overwintering in places it used to not exist at all. And so this is what I mean. It's not just screwworms, it's mosquitoes, it's the distribution of ticks. It is Naegleria showing up in water in places like Minnesota. This is an organism that typically loves warm surface waters. What is it doing in drinking water pipes in the north? So the world is changing really quickly. We need every environmental health professional on their A game to protect the health, the safety, and the economic prosperity of the people that they serve. This is
yeah.
why this profession is so important. And I can be animated about this, but with good cause.